Hello, hope my mic's okay. Hope it's all good. Let me know. Let me know how I'm doing. Big ups everyone! Apologies for not streaming since blinking Tuesday. But yeah, just been super busy. Any moments I did have time, I just didn't, bonfire night got in the way and whatnot. But back now again. So hey, big ups to all the comments. Let's have a look. Not snap. Oh, that loss was embarrassing. So many positives out there. Pretty vital win for us. Can Mateus Nunes be our own Cancelo? Should Man City play a double pivot of Gonzalez and Rodri? And when he comes back to full fitness, I'm proud of the win. Our form is dominant. Doku best winger in the league. Is O'Reilly best left back in the league? Big ups everyone. How can I be in contact with Leicester City? I don't really know, man. Maybe just try, he's got a Twitter account if you want to try and message him on there or something. I can't really help you beyond that though, I'm afraid, bro. Because I literally haven't really got anything more to add. Hi, my blue brother. Welcome back. We won 3-0 yesterday, Common City. Yes, we absolutely did. What a win it was, by the way. No doubt it was probably up against us a little bit, but man, we were just superb. And there's obviously controversies to talk about. We're going to talk about it all. And I'm absolutely ready to, because there is a lot to uncover. Liverpool fans have been raging, but I think ultimately both teams should accept, and both sets of fans should accept, that we were just the clearly better side. It's not a case of we're a better team than you, ha 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 ha. And do I have Twitter? It's MCFC Connect is the account. It's not a case of oh, we're so much better than you and whatnot. Okay, despite us being that way that game, but our performance just was the proof was in the pudding yesterday. We don't need to say lies and whatnot to show that we were better. It's all there for everyone to see. And we were so good yesterday, Blues. Not like you need me to tell you that, but everyone putting in a good shift. O'Reilly, another brilliant performance. Some people have been worrying about maybe how he does in a big game against Mo Salah. Man, you wouldn't think he was playing against Mo Salah. If so, can you tell Leicester City to get Discord? I'll try to see what I can do about that. Big ups to you, man. So I'll see if I have posted, but the post just you. That's basically what I do. If we continue playing about this, maybe we can go to Real Madrid and beat them at the Santiago Bernabeu. Always a difficult ask at the Bernabeu, Linkovic, but hey, man, this is such a great win. We can let us celebrate however we wish. Let's absolutely just go crazy on it. And you know what? To go crazy, let's talk about some players and a team that went crazy yesterday. And Jeremy Doku and our team was one of them. We absolutely dominated Liverpool. We absolutely did. There's no doubt in my mind that we deserved to win yesterday. And you know what? The penalty. I'm going to start the penalty because the penalty was the controversy. Okay. For me, that penalty that was given, it is a penalty. All right. I think it absolutely was a penalty because it knocks Doku off balance, right? But sure, you can argue it's a bit soft and whatnot, but ultimately, the penalty got missed anyway. Didn't even play that big of feature, a big part in the game. You'd think at that point, Liverpool, a bit of momentum behind them, their crowd would have got up for it a little bit, would have taken the game into their own hands, maybe dominated and whatnot. You'd think that was maybe how it could go from there. But it just didn't, because about 15 minutes after Haaland missed a penalty, he scored a goal from open play. He's yet to score a goal from penalties this season, guys, which is so good. By the way, I love to see that because it just means it's another thing rival fans can't say and to try and bat away any point you make. they can't use the penalty thing against anything. Yeah, but we're in such good form. You're not so great. We haven't let that Villa game slow us down in any way. Pep should make a system with Rodri and Gonzalez in the team. It would be outstanding. Nico Gonzalez is already Rodri's true heir. What's his name? But text it to me after. Connecting. This is his Twitter account. I believe it's just this to say. Yeah, look, on the double pivot thing, blinking Nico Gonzalez is obviously playing brilliantly, and of course he got on the score sheet yesterday to put on top of everything. He's obviously in some real good form at the moment. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think this comes down to a case of, oh, we got to make room for both in the team. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Sure, let's do it. Let's give it a go. I'm not opposed to trying anything. But I love the fact that this gives us more options. You need a game where City need to be a bit more reserved, tuck in a little bit, maybe try pinch a goal, hold on for a bit, similar to the game at the Emirates where we took a goal and tried to hold on for the rest of the game. You want a game like that. Those two sit in the back. You've got a perfect little pair going, don't you? Really good defensive units who can pop up with goals just like this man. But you want a game where we could be a bit more open. You could just play one and let another one have freedom. You played well and deserved the result. I'm disappointed that Liverpool did not play better yesterday because I respect them. Hey man, we've had stinker performances against Liverpool. I'm not too bothered. We played super duper well. Ultimately, suffocate their midfield. I don't actually really know how Shaqy did. So 6.3. To be fair, I didn't hear really anyone rave about him. So 6.3 is a tad surprising for me. But failed the majority of his ground duels. 77% of passes completed. So yeah, hey, look, some people might look at this game and be like, "Oh, Shaqy Motion cracks in big games." It's one game, lads. He's been playing brilliantly. Otherwise, don't think anything of it. And instead of looking at what maybe one slip up in a performance, let's have a look at all the brilliant ones instead, because there just were some superb ones. And look, also on Van Dijk's header, by the way, another moment in the game where maybe the goal should have stood. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think it probably should have stood. I think it probably should have. Have Liverpool been wrong there? Yeah, I guess. I guess they have been. But I don't really care. I do not care that that we've had a decision wronged, okay? And the Premier League can sing and shout about it as much as they like. Go for it. Because whenever we've been wronged, no one has gotten as loud as people have for this one. So absolutely go for it, lads. I'm not bothered. It's about time we had some decisions go our way. So big ups, honestly. I'm not really bothered. I want consistency in the league, yeah, but I'm also sick of seeing my own club get wrongdoings and not many others as well. So, hey, this happens, man. Happens in big games, happens in small games. This is just the way it goes. I'll never forget when Grealish was running in one-on-one and the ref blowed the whistle for a foul. I'm not really. I haven't really got any sympathy where this one's concerned. So, people could complain and whatnot, but honestly, I'm fine with it. But a man that was just on absolutely fire today. I mean, just look at this. Player fact. Player of the match. Complete the most dribbles. Most fouled. Won the most duels. He was superb, wasn't he? Always looking a threat. Probably scored the best goal out of the lot as well. Just superb the whole way through Doku. I was hearing people saying that he was man of the match at half time. About Van Dijk, we did complain to the PL. Yeah, sure, go for it. The decision was incorrect. I can agree with that. I've watched it. I don't really think it's a fair. I don't think it's a fair turning over, to be honest. But ultimately, You know, like this stuff happens, man. This stuff happens. You know, I'm sure Liverpool are going to get a decision go their way. Yote was a masterpiece. I haven't finished it yet. I know. I probably should. But just things have gotten in my way. Things have just gotten in my way, Lekovic. Yeah. But big ups. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm still really early in the game, just having a blast. There's just so much to do. At the moment, playing a different game, though. Let me know if you can guess it. Recently released as well. I'm having so much fun on that as well. Hey, but man, I also want to mention about Erling Haaland. But no penalties. This guy just finds a way to score. The finish is brilliant, by the way. You know, it's a real good header. I know he gets a little lucky with Canate. Canate, by the way, awful game. I just want to say had involvement in, I believe, all 3 goals. To be honest, was weak against Doku. To be fair, a bit of unluckiness on Haaland, but the ball flicks off his head before it hits Haaland, which helps Haaland's header out a little. And I could have sworn I could have seen something to do with the Nico Gonzalez goal, and I believe he got beat by Doku when he won the penalty. Just nothing was going that guy's way. I believe he's been having a bad season anyway for Liverpool, so yeah, tough one. Dispatch! Nice guess, Lukovic. Canate needs to be sold. Lad, he ain't getting sold, bro. He's going for free. He's going for free at this rate. And it looks like, man, well, Madrid still won him. He probably not can't be like that bad an option off like the bench or something at the very least. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? But like we did superb to keep this team locked down today. Oh, yesterday even. You know, the real good players elsewhere. You know, Salah, one of the best wingers in Premier League history, got absolutely pocketed by this man. You know, I watched. I don't know if you guys watched Saturday Social. It's like content creators and whatnot will like come on and like speak football stuff. I watched their episode and they were like doing the best wonder kids in the world at left back. Not just left back, like in the whole world, each position this season. And I was waiting for left back because I was rubbing my hands, I was thinking Nico O'Reilly's going to get a mention. Neither of them went O'Reilly, and it just shocked me because like it's not like the players they went for were bad. Lewis Skelly and Lewis Hall, but they both mentioned in that video how both of them have been struggling for minutes a little bit in certain areas. But this guy's been starting every game and continues to just drop superb games. You know, again, we looked at this recently, but Lewis scores 6.2 and then a 6.5 off the bench and a 5.8. You know, every game he's started, though, he's gotten, apart from one, he's gotten over a 7. You know, he's been superb. How do I search up someone's name on Twitter? Just search bar This Is City, if that's what you're looking for. Vert played bad. He could have played XTK with one chance, but he miskicked the ball when it was 0-0 or 1-0. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I don't want to write Verts off, you know, and I'm a Man City fan. I don't want to write Verts off because I think it's a bit naive, you know, like he's a very good player. He's a very good footballer. And, you know, that much is clear. There's a lot of potential with him. And he's clearly struggling. I don't know what is quite getting to him. Maybe it's the physicality, maybe it's the pace of the game, maybe it's just how the teams play. You know, it's not the same as the Bundesliga. Hasn't been for a very long time, to say the least, if ever. So, you know, he's walked into a difficult job. Am I bothered? No, not really, to be honest. You know, if it's flops, that's fine by me. You know. People were on Grealish's back quicker than this. So I'm still willing to give this guy time, just like I would Grealish, just like I will Isak as well, who didn't make an appearance off your bench today. But honestly, I don't know. How much time do you give him? Has he got any goal? Bye, I'm going. Big up to you for tuning in, bro. Phil Foden incredible this season. Yeah, I agree. Only plays good in the UCL against Real Madrid and Frankfurt. Yeah, I mean, Foden's been superb this season, to be honest. He's not so much getting as many goal contributions as you might like from Phil, which is fine by me because he's doing different jobs. He's playing a bit more conserved in the team at the moment. I know he's in the cam role here, but he's playing a bit more conserved, linking up play, helping out in actual build-up, not shooting as much. Like, there was a game this season where he had 5 shots on goal, got no goals, and I was just, thinking to myself, you should have passed the ball in a few of those positions, Phil. This game, he had 2 shots. The last game I did a review on, he had, 1 or 2 shots. He's not shooting as much, and he's taking the extra passes. I'm convinced that's something he's been told on the training ground, just slow down on your shots and whatnot. Alisson was also out injured. Yeah, Alisson probably makes somewhat of a difference this game. Mamardashvili hasn't really come into Liverpool and been that brick wall you need whilst Alisson's out. Hasn't really replaced Kelleher how you might like him to. But I have no doubt that he probably will. Mamardashvili is a very good keeper, and I have no doubt when Alisson comes back, you guys will look a lot tighter at the back. Although, your defence got to tighten up, because your team will struggle, regardless of whether Alisson is out or not, if you don't sort this out, really. Even in a game where you didn't play Kirkes or Frimpong, 2 very attacking fullbacks, and I know you couldn't play Frimpong due to injury, we still bullied the defence. So there's something clearly just wrong with the defence. Maybe it's more a centre-back thing, I'm not too sure. But ultimately, I don't know what's quite up with Liverpool at the moment this season. Found out a bit, yeah, probably, I think it's also, I said this a bit last season, and so I want to say it again this season. It was no diss on to Liverpool, never, okay, because I'm a firm believer that you can only beat what's in front of you, and you can't be dissed for beating what's in front of you. Look at this last season. In fact, let's have a look at 22-23 season, 23-24. Look at the top 3 teams, yeah? Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal, okay? And even keep an eye out on these, okay? We go to 24-25, okay? Arsenal and Man City both dropped off. Chelsea hardly improved. Aston Villa didn't improve. Newcastle did improve. Forest did improve. Brighton improved. Bournemouth improved. Brentford were good as well. But do you see how I'm saying the teams down here are the teams that improved, and the teams up here are the ones that didn't really progress and were kind of stagnant in terms of how they did, and even went backwards in terms of progression, like how City did, and even Arsenal had a bad time last season. What I'm trying to say is that I think Liverpool did a very good job against a weaker Premier League last season. I think a lot of, that was the weakest Man City team in years. It was the weakest Arsenal team in some time as well. But what happens after a bad season? The teams that did weak try to improve upon themselves. And Liverpool haven't really, despite spending all the money they did, they haven't really stepped up to the plate in terms of results just yet, with 6 wins and 5 losses. City and Arsenal are looking to get back to where they were. So it's a very interesting one with Liverpool, because of all the money they did spend, you'd expect them to be a lot better. So over 200 million worth of attackers. You bought 2 of the best fullbacks, best young fullbacks in the world as well, and to pop it on top. And you've bought in a really good backup goalkeeper. I hope that will be Arsenal in the second half of the season. I think we're benefiting from the fact that will be at the Etihad. Draw at the Emirates, really, really good result. It's a very important one for us. And I'm really thankful we got it. It's a shame it wasn't a win, but oh well. It is what it is. Arsenal, ultimately, they're going to be an extremely difficult team to beat this season. They've only conceded 5. To be fair, we've only conceded 8, so it's not that bad. But it's still really something to keep an eye out for. But keep scoring the goals, keep it tight at the back as well, still Blues, and we'll be fine, I feel. We've got... I believe we're heading into international break now. I believe. Yeah. So our next game is on the 22nd, which is in 12 days. So buckle up because we will be without games for a while. Newcastle, they got to sharpen up a bit for that game. Then it's back at the Etihad for 2 games in a row. So it's going to be a real interesting November. I agree. If we beat Arsenal at home, then we deserve the Premier League. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about how we're doing at that point in the season. But big up to Liverpool, because man, I'd love to see us win the Prem, but we'll wait and see, won't we? Now then, guys, big up to everyone who tuned in. I know it's a bit of a short one, but I think I covered everything pretty well. Big up to Jeremy Doku, by the way, easily probably his best performance in the City shirt. How many? Blake and Eck. Probably the amount of goals he scored this season, DC3K, which is like 27. There you go. Big up to you all Blues, and I'll see you all in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already.